Have you ever wondered what lies above the clouds? Not the clouds from airplane windows, but the endless realm beyond them. Up there, the sky stretches without end. Light carries stories older than memory, and every breeze feels like a whisper from another world. Tonight, I want to take you there, into a place where the air itself tells tales, and horizons seem to float forever. This is the story of the Skybound Zeus. But do not mistake him for the thunder god of old. He is something else entirely. Zeus is a wanderer of skies, a guardian of horizons, and a whisperer of winds. He carries no crown, no scepter, no throne. Instead, he holds a compass, a strange compass that does not point north or south, but inward toward the truth within us. Dreamers have spoken of him for generations. Some say he comes when the heart grows restless. Others believe he is always near, waiting. So let us rise together. Let us step softly into the blue expanse, where stories float like lanterns and secrets drift on the wind. There are moments when the world feels too loud. Every sound presses in, leaving the heart restless, waiting for something unseen. In such a moment, the story of our dreamer began. He lived in a quiet town by the hills, where each day echoed with market calls and the clock tower's bell. Yet each evening, he wandered past the edge of town, out to the fields, where the horizon stretched wide and the wind always seemed alive with secrets. The wind carried no words, but it carried meaning, a hush, a sigh, a breath that felt like an invitation, waiting for him to listen. Sometimes it almost sounded like a voice, gentle, never demanding, always drifting past, whispering, "Follow me if you dare." One evening, as the sun melted into gold and violet, he lingered longer than ever. The town behind him faded, and only crickets filled the air. He closed his eyes, and the wind swirled around him. In that stillness, he heard it clearly. A whisper, simple yet endless. "Look up," and so he did. Above him stretched a sky impossibly vast, clouds glowing like floating isles, painted with colors beyond memory. He had seen skies before, but this time it felt alive. It felt like it was waiting for him, breathing with him, calling his spirit to rise. The whisper returned, soft and bright as music. Beyond the clouds, a path awaits. Will you follow? His heart raced. Something within him stirred, a longing that had always been silent, waiting. He thought of the stories his grandmother told. She had spoken of a wanderer called Zeus, not the thunder god, but a guardian of horizons, a keeper of secrets carried on the wind. He had laughed then. A man among the clouds? Impossible. But now, with a whisper in his ear, it did not feel impossible. It felt inevitable. He raised his hand to the air. The wind curled gently around his fingers, playful yet guiding, as though testing if he was ready to follow. He whispered back, softly, barely louder than breath. "Yes." At once, the field fell silent. The crickets paused, and the air held its breath. Then a current rose, warm and filled with quiet power. It lifted his hair, brushed across his face, and carried scents of distant rain and blooming flowers, like a promise written into the breeze. Above him, a single cloud shimmered silver, glowing faintly as though alive. It pulsed softly, as if waiting for him to take the first step. The whisper came again, gentle, like the final note of a song. "Your journey begins." And so it did. Not along roads of stone, nor across rivers and mountains, but upward into the vast realm of wind, cloud, and boundless sky. From that night, the wind was never the same. It was no longer just weather. It was a voice, a companion, a guide. And every time it touched his ear, he remembered the promise, the whisper of the wind, the call of the skybound Zeus. The night after the whisper, the dreamer woke with a strange weightlessness. It was as if the world had shifted, pulling him gently upward, unseen yet certain. He stepped outside. The streets were the same, the rooftops unchanged, the bell ringing steady. Yet the sky above felt different. It was no longer empty. It was alive. The whisper lingered in his ear like a song he could not forget. When the breeze touched his cheek, it was patient, gentle, and calling him to follow. For days, he wandered beyond the hills, across meadows and woods. With each step, the air grew lighter, the sky wider, as though urging him to keep going. One evening, he climbed higher than ever before. On a ridge swept with wild wind, he saw them islands floating in the endless blue, glowing softly with light. Some were small as houses, others vast as kingdoms. Forests crowned them. Waterfalls spilled into clouds. Meadows shimmered, as though woven from glass and air. The dreamer stood in awe. His heart pounded, yet his body felt light. Then the whisper stirred again. This is where paths converge. The sky is alive. He stepped closer to the edge. The isles were distant, yet he felt their pull. The air stretched out before him, almost forming an unseen bridge. A bird soared past, wings catching the current. It rose higher, higher, until it landed on a glowing isle. Its cry was not farewell, but invitation. The dreamer's breath caught. If a bird could reach them, perhaps he could too. But how? He had no wings, no bridge, no map to guide him. The answer came in the wind. It circled him stronger now, testing his resolve. And in its current, a name returned, the name from old tales, Zeus, the sky's wanderer, the one who moved freely among the isles, carried not by wings, but by trust in the horizon, trust in the unseen currents. The dreamer closed his eyes. The wind pressed against him, steady, not harsh. Invisible hands seemed to lift him, urging him to take the first step. When he opened his eyes, he saw it, a shimmer in the air, faint yet clear, a path of light stretching toward the nearest isle. Fragile, but real. Fear filled him, but so did certainty. Behind him lay the safe and ordinary. Ahead was the impossible, alive with promise. He whispered the word, yes. He stepped forward. For a moment, nothing held him. The earth fell away. The air rushed past. Then the wind caught him, steady and sure. Each step made the path glow brighter. He walked across the air as if it were stone, lifted by warmth, by light, by the promise of something vast. And then, he was there. His feet touched soil, not of earth, but of sky. Grass swayed softly, glowing with light. Trees shimmered with silver threads. The isle was alive, singing with the breath of the wind. It was neither earth nor heaven, but something between, a realm where stories drifted forever. And the dreamer knew then, he was not alone. Somewhere among these floating isles, the skybound Zeus awaited. The whisper was only the beginning. The dreamer stood on the glowing isle, grass soft beneath his feet, the air alive with secrets. He had crossed the impossible, yet he knew this was not the end, only the beginning. The wind curled gently around his shoulders, urging him forward through silver-leafed trees. Branches sang when touched by the breeze, notes like a harp, carrying music and message alike. At the heart of the isle, the grass opened into a wide clearing bathed in quiet light. There he saw him, a figure calm and tall, robed in silver and pale blue. His eyes shone bright, endless as the sky itself, and the dreamer knew his name. Zeus, not a god of thunder, but a wanderer of horizons, a guide of the wind. For a long breath, silence held them, soft and weightless as air. Then Zeus raised his hand, and his voice carried not only in sound, but in air. "You have heard the whisper," he said. "Few dare, fewer still listen." The dreamer's heart raced, yet he found his words. "I followed the sound. I only wanted to see." Zeus's smile was faint, gentle as dawn. To want to see is enough. The sky asks for courage, not certainty. He stepped closer, the air bending softly with each movement. There is a gift the sky gives, not to hold, but to become. He opened his palm, and the wind gathered like a spiral of glowing light. It hummed, alive, a song without words, yet full of meaning. "This is the gift of flight," Zeus whispered. "To fly is not to escape, but to surrender. to trust the unseen currents. The light drifted into the dreamer's chest, settling just above his heart. Warmth spread through him, filling his lungs, his veins, his bones. The ground seemed less solid, less necessary, as though the air reached for him. "Breathe," Zeus said. "Breathe and let go." The dreamer inhaled deeply, then exhaled. With the breath went fear, doubt, the weight of the ordinary world. His toes lifted from the grass. The air held him, steady and kind. His eyes opened wide. He was floating, the horizon endless in every direction. "Do not fight it," Zeus's voice rose. "The wind has always wished to carry you." Arms stretched. The current caught him, tilting, rising, swaying like a leaf in breeze. Clumsy at first, uncertain, yet the sky was patient. Breath by breath, he learned its rhythm, its trust, its hidden music. Soon he leaned, turned, curved, and the wind obeyed. He was no longer floating. He was flying. His laughter broke free, bright and unguarded, echoing across the isle. The sky answered, a chorus of wind lifting his joy higher. Zeus watched in silence, his smile knowing, calm. At last, the dreamer returned, feet brushing the glowing grass once more. "I never thought this was possible," he whispered, heart still racing. "Most do not," Zeus said. "But possibility has always waited, hidden in the breath. The gift of flight is not mine to give. It is yours to accept." The wind curled around the dreamer again, warm and embracing. He bowed his head. Words were small, but he knew he was no longer earthbound. The sky had claimed him, and Zeus had shown him the way. The dreamer stood still, breath unsteady, the memory of flight alive in his chest. The air clung to him, gentle yet insistent, urging him to rise again. Zeus watched, patient as the horizon, calm and silent. "You have touched the gift," he said. "But flight is more than rising. It is crossing." The dreamer looked out. Isles drifted like fragments of heaven, vast and glowing. The gaps between them were wide, daunting, and endless. His heart quickened. Could he truly leap into nothing and trust the sky? Zeus stepped closer, his words carried by wind. "The isles drift apart so you may learn. Each crossing deepens your bond with the sky." The dreamer's throat tightened as he gazed at the nearest isle. It was close, yet impossibly far. "Breathe," Zeus whispered. "The air does not abandon. It only waits for you." The dreamer closed his eyes, recalling the warmth of flight. He stepped to the edge, the abyss stretching below. Clouds swirled beneath, endless and unknowable. One step felt like surrendering everything he had known. He whispered, "Yes," and leapt. At first, only falling. The rush of air roared past his ears. Fear clutched him, sharp and desperate. Then the wind caught him, rising, steady, kind. It lifted him, held him, carried him forward. The abyss became a promise, not a threat. The isle behind him shrank. The new one swelled larger. He tilted his body, and the current curved with him. Arms stretched. The lift grew stronger, carrying him higher. Laughter broke free, wild, unguarded, scattering into clouds. The distance thrilled him now. Freedom lived in the space between. At last, his feet touched the new isle. He stumbled, but wonder burned in his eyes. Zeus appeared beside him, calm as air itself. "I thought I would fall forever," the dreamer said. "The sky does not wish you to fail," Zeus replied. "It asks only for trust. Every flight begins with surrender." The dreamer looked back, the gap still wide, still daunting, but no longer impossible. It was an invitation. Dozens more isles floated beyond, glowing and veiled in mist. Each seemed to call his name, shimmering with promise. The dreamer's chest swelled, fear lingering but wonder stronger. Zeus placed a hand on his shoulder. "Each isle will show you something new. Some gentle, some not. All will teach." The dreamer nodded, eyes fixed on the horizon. Already, he longed to leap again, to chase the unseen paths. He understood now. The world was vast, endless, waiting, and he had wings, not of feather, but of trust and surrender. The journey had only just begun. The dreamer had crossed his first distance, but the sky asked for more. The new isle shimmered with silver grass and trees that bent to an unseen song. At its center stood a circle of stones carved with living marks. The wind guided him forward, and the air thickened, alive with presence. Then came the voices, not human, not beast, but currents themselves. They rose high and low, soft and thunderous, weaving together like music. It was the Council of Winds. The dreamer froze. His breath caught as their rhythm circled him. A smooth voice, warm as summer air, spoke. "You have entered the circle of sky." "Why have you?" The dreamer answered, trembling yet honest. "I followed the whisper. I crossed the isles. I seek to understand." A sharper voice cut in, cold as mountain gusts. "To seek is not to know. The sky is alive, not to be measured." Another voice, steady as fields and breeze, replied, "Yet he has leapt. Few leap, fewer trust." The air grew restless, tugging at him as their debate swirled. Then came a deeper voice, resonant as storm and calm alike. Silence. The clearing stilled. Only his heartbeat filled the quiet. From the stones, a form emerged. Vast, rippling, endless as cloud. "I am Boreas," the voice said, "keeper of the north, elder of the council." The dreamer bowed low, uncertain how to face such presence. Boreas circled him, current testing, weighing, pressing softly. "You have felt the lift," he said, "but flight is not rising. It is belonging." The dreamer whispered, "Belonging? Yes." Another voice laughed, playful as spring air. "The sky gives only to those who carry its song." Currents brushed his skin warm, cold, swift, and slow. He closed his eyes, letting them ask without words. And he understood. The sky was not empty. It was alive, with voices, tides, and spirits. To fly was not to conquer, but to join. When he opened his eyes, light shimmered around him. The winds had gathered, weaving a silver circle. Boreas spoke once more. "You are welcome, so long as you listen. The sky is not yours. It is itself." The circle pulsed, and the air pressed into him as promise. The winds accepted him, not as master, but as guest. His chest swelled, eyes stung with wonder. "I will listen," he whispered. Voices rose again, now in harmony, a choir of air. Their song scattered across the horizon. The Council of Winds had spoken. When the song faded, the clearing was still. Yet the sky hummed now within his breath, his bones, his being. Zeus appeared at the circle's edge, quiet as dawn. "You have met them," he said. The dreamer nodded, trembling. "They are not voices. They are the sky itself." Zeus smiled faintly. "And now you know. Flight is not gift alone. It is responsibility." The dreamer gazed at the drifting isles beyond. Fear lingered, but wonder outshone it. He was no longer only of earth. He belonged to the wind. The dreamer carried the song of the winds within his chest. Every breath felt alive, laced with whispers of the sky. But the horizon darkened, clouds curling in heavy spirals. Lightning flashed faintly in their depths, rumbling with unseen power. Zeus stood beside him, gaze fixed on the growing storm. "The sky is not only gentle," he said. "It carries storms, too. To walk among the winds, you must face their fury. This is your next lesson." The dreamer's heart raced. This was no whisper, no gentle lift. This was wild, vast, alive with force. "Do not fear it," Zeus said calmly. "The storm does not come to break you. It comes to teach." The dreamer followed him into the charged air, skin tingling. Clouds rose like mountains, flashing veins of white fire. The air pressed heavy, as though the sky itself held its breath. A gust struck fierce and cold, spinning him sideways. He nearly panicked, but remembered the council's words. The sky is not empty. It is alive. He stopped resisting and leaned into the wind. The gust guided him like a tide, steady and sure. Thunder cracked, vast and deep, shaking his bone. Lightning split the horizon, jagged and bright. The storm was no companion now. It was a chorus of power. The dreamer shouted into the roar, "What do you want me to learn?" No voice answered. Yet he felt the truth. The storm did not ask to be conquered. It asked him to endure, not to silence it, but to stand within it, steady. Rain burst around him, blinding silver sheets. Each drop a note, each gust a phrase, each thunder a drum. It was wild music, fierce yet true. Zeus hovered nearby, silent, letting the storm speak. The dreamer pressed forward, step by trembling step. Winds whipped him, rain stung his skin, thunder rattled his chest. Still, he did not stop. At last, he lifted his arms wide, surrendering fully. The storm howled, but instead of breaking him, it lifted him higher. In the chaos, he felt clarity. The storm was balance, reminding the sky of its power. Without storm, the calm meant nothing. Without trial, the gift of flight could not be trusted. A deep voice rumbled through the thunder. Strength is not in silence. Strength is in standing. The dreamer gasped. The storm itself was speaking. "I hear you," he whispered. "I will not fear you. I will stand." The storm surged one final time. Lightning, thunder, roaring wind. Then, as swiftly as it came, it softened. The clouds thinned. The rain eased. The horizon stretched bright and endless once more. The dreamer hovered in the quiet, every nerve alive. Zeus approached, eyes glimmering with approval. "You have faced the storm," he said. "You did not run. You did not fight. You listened. That is the way of the sky." The dreamer exhaled, steadier than before. "I thought it came to destroy me," he said. "But it only asked me to stand." Zeus nodded. "The storm is not your enemy. It is your teacher." The dreamer gazed out at the horizon, thunder still echoing in his bones. He felt shaped by the sky itself. The storm had tested him. The storm had spoken, and he had listened. The storm had passed, but its memory lingered in the dreamer's bones. Every breath carried thunder's hum. Every heartbeat echoed with light. He had not been broken. He had been shaped. The skies cleared into calm, clouds stretching like rivers of pale mist. The air was cool and hushed, as if holding something sacred. Zeus walked beside him in silence, his steps measured. Then the dreamer saw them stars, faint, glimmering in daylight. They sharpened, countless and endless, like a hidden door opening. "What is this place?" he whispered. "This is the star well," Zeus said softly. "Where earth and sky remember they are one." The stars gathered in a spiral, turning downward into the horizon. It was not only above him, it was below, around, within. The air shimmered like glass, rippling as though it were water. Leaning forward, he felt a pull, steady as tide and light. "You may enter," Zeus said. "But the star well shows not what you want, only what you need." The dreamer hesitated, remembering the storm's fierce lesson. What would this well of stars reveal? The pull grew stronger, not with force, but with invitation. He breathed deeply and stepped into the light. The world dissolved, sky melting into silver threads. Ground, horizon, and air fell away until only the well remained. And within it, visions. He saw himself as a child, staring at the night sky. He saw himself older, burdened, forgetting those dreams. He saw the leap he had taken, trusting the whisper of wind. The well bent deeper. Stars forming faces he knew. Loved ones, lost ones, fears and longings, all reflected back. He reached out, but the images rippled, shifting. He saw himself again, flying, stumbling, rising, falling. Not punishment. Reminder. "Why do you show me this?" he asked. The well answered only with silence, rich with meaning. "Because to rise, one must remember. Because the sky does not erase the earth, it completes it." The dreamer's chest ached with release, not sorrow. Memories washed through him, hopes, doubts, losses, joys. They were not weights, they were roots. The stars pulsed like a quiet heartbeat, steady and sure. For a moment, he felt himself a star, small yet eternal. The spiral lifted him upward, carrying him back toward cloud. His feet touched the aisle, Zeus stood waiting. It showed me myself, the dreamer whispered. It showed me what I had forgotten. The sky carries memory, Zeus said. It reflects all that has been, all that may be. The dreamer's chest was lighter, his heart steadier. Flight is not escape, he said softly. It is carrying forward. Zeus smiled faintly. Pride and sorrow mingling. You begin to understand. The dreamer turned toward the horizon. Stars faint in the day. They no longer felt distant. They felt near, alive, guiding. The starwell had spoken with light, memory, and truth. His journey was not to outrun the past. It was to weave it into the sky ahead. The dreamer's heart still echoed with the starwell's light when a new stirring touched the air. It was not thunder, not wind, something gentler. It was music. At first, a faint hum drifting between clouds, almost hidden. The longer he listened, the clearer it grew, as if the sky itself was singing. The notes were not strings or drums, but air and light woven together. They touched more than the ear. They touched the soul. The dreamer closed his eyes, letting the sound wash through him. It rose and fell like breath, carrying dawn's hush, rain's laughter, stars' patience. Zeus walked beside him in silence before finally asking, "You hear it?" "Yes," the dreamer whispered. "What is it?" "The song of the sky," Zeus said softly. "It has always been here." The dreamer tilted his head, listening deeper. It was not just melody. It was memory. Winds, storms, and stars, each carrying a note of their own. "Why show me this?" he asked. "Because flight is not only strength," Zeus replied. "It is harmony." The song swelled, drawing visions across the sky. Clouds danced like figures. Stars flickered in rhythm. Winds curved in arcs like strings of invisible music. And in the center himself, one voice among many. The dreamer trembled, struck with awe. The sky was not empty. It was alive with song. He dared to hum, his voice thin, uncertain. But the sky caught it, weaving it into the chorus. His voice steadied, stronger, clearer. He was not singing to the sky. He was singing with it. Zeus's eyes glowed with approval as he watched. The dreamer sang of earth, of rivers, of laughter, of sorrow. The sky answered, folding his song into its own. Together, they created something new. The final note faded, silence returning, full and eternal. The dreamer opened his eyes, tears shining, heart whole. "You have sung with the sky," Zeus said. "That is a gift greater than wings." "I never knew the sky was listening," the dreamer whispered. "It always listens," Zeus replied, "but only to those who listen first." The dreamer gazed upward, clouds drifting, stars faint in daylight. He felt connected, not just to the sky, but to everything it touched. The song was not finished. It never would be. Flight was not only rising above, it was joining the chorus, finding his note in the great song. The sky was not empty. It was alive, and he belonged within it. The night had passed, its stars still humming with the memory of the sky's song. The dreamer moved forward, guided not by maps or compass, but by something within his chest. The air grew warmer as clouds parted slowly, as though making space for something sacred. And in the distance, glowing faintly, he saw a bridge. Not stone, not wood, but light itself, arcing across the open sky. Golden radiance stretched from horizon to horizon, woven like threads of the Sunday. The dreamer caught his breath. "The bridge of dawn," Zeus said, his voice full of reverence. It shimmered endlessly, waiting, humming softly like a promise. "What lies across it?" the dreamer asked. "Some say the heart of the sky, others the heart of yourself," Zeus answered. The dreamer stepped forward, trembling with awe. His foot touched light. It rippled like water, yet held firm. Warmth spread into his bones, steady and alive. Each step echoed like a note, the bridge humming beneath him. Below, the clouds glowed in rose and silver, hiding the earth. Visions shimmered around him, footsteps glowing faintly behind. Choices made, moments of courage, moments of hesitation. The dreamer's throat tightened. The bridge remembered, every step. Dawn does not erase night, Zeus whispered. It carries both. The dreamer walked on, heart heavy and light at once. At the bridge's center, the light deepened, pooling into a radiant circle. Visions rose not past, but possibilities yet to come. Storms faced, hands lifted, paths branching endlessly. Is this my future? He whispered. Not future, Zeus replied. Possibility. Dawn reminds you that you can. Every road shimmered, shadow and light woven together. He stepped forward. The circle dissolved, the bridge stretching on. Morning rays pierced the clouds, striking the bridge in fire. It glowed brighter than stars, brighter than flame, brighter than all. The dreamer shielded his eyes, but his steps grew lighter. At last, he reached the far side, warmth still glowing in his chest. The bridge shimmered behind him, endless as promise. You have crossed, Zeus said. What did you find? The dreamer's eyes glowed clear. That dawn holds night and light together. Zeus smiled, the morning shining on his face. Then you are ready to continue. The dreamer gazed ahead. No fear in his heart. The dawn was not behind him. It was within him. The sky was calm, but silence lingered deeper than stillness, as if the world held its breath. The dreamer left the bridge of dawn, warmth still alive within his chest. But ahead, the horizon darkened. Not night, not shadow, but storm. Clouds towered high, their edges glowing faintly, lightning alive within. The dreamer's heart raced. This storm was not like the storms of earth. Zeus watched calmly. The keeper waits, he said. The keeper, the dreamer asked softly. Every storm has a heart. Every heart has a guardian, Zeus replied. Lightning flickered, steady as a heartbeat, written in light. Thunder rolled, low and patient, echoing like an eternal drum. A figure rose within the clouds, vast and clear, carved from wind and thunder. The keeper, its silver eyes glowed, deep as the sea. Its voice rumbled, not sound, but vibration. You seek the sky. Do you know the storms you carry within? Visions swirled before him, anger like lightning, fear like thunder, sorrow like rain. The dreamer trembled. I never meant for them to stay. They stayed because you tried to silence them, the keeper said. To walk the sky, you must not deny your storms. You must know them. Zeus's hand rested gently on his shoulder. Do not turn away. The dreamer stepped closer into the storm's heart. Lightning arced softly, revealing the shadows he feared and hid. Yes, he whispered. These are my storms. They live within me. Thunder rolled, brighter now, like approval. And will you carry them? The keeper asked. Not as chains, but as power? The dreamer nodded. I will. The storm shifted. Lightning softened into veins of silver. Thunder became rhythm, steady and grounding. The keeper's vast hand opened, holding a glowing orb of silver fire. This is your storm. It does not control you. It is part of you. The dreamer took it, trembling, and felt it sink into his chest. It merged with his heartbeat, heavy and light at once. The storm was no longer fear. It was strength. You are no longer afraid, the keeper said. You are their keeper too. The clouds thinned, dissolving into silver mist. The dreamer stood taller, calm yet filled with awe. Zeus smiled faintly. You listened. That is all the storm ever asked. The keeper's voice echoed one last time. The sky does not fear its storms. Neither should you. The dreamer bowed his head, grateful. The horizon glowed again. Soft gold rising with the Sunday, he carried the storm within him, no longer a burden but a song. To walk the sky was not to escape storms. It was to carry them with peace. The storm had passed, leaving rhythm in the dreamer's chest. Not fear but song. He walked on, horizon wide, carrying both storm and dawn within him. The sky softened, clouds parting to reveal something unexpected. A garden, suspended among the heavens. It floated with no soil, no stone. Golden Venus curved upward, blooming into flowers shaped like stars. Trees shimmered with leaves glowing like constellations. Petals whispered softly, carrying fragments of memory. The dreamer stopped, breath caught. Gardens belong to Earth, he whispered. Zeus's voice was warm. The sky tends its own. This is the celestial garden. The dreamer stepped forward. The ground was woven light, not earth. It shifted like a breeze, carrying him gently. The air smelled of rain and starlight, both sharp and sweet. A silver stream wound through, its ripples reflecting skies. He touched the water. Visions spread, laughter of a child, steps of a mother, a traveler in rain. These are memories, he whispered. Zeus nodded. The garden holds every heart that ever looked upward. The dreamer's chest swelled. The sky was not distant. It was listening. Flowers leaned as he passed, humming faint lullabies of laughter and tears. Why show me this? He asked. Because the sky is memory, Zeus said. You are not alone. At the center stood a tree larger than all. Its trunk shone crystal, branches stretching into eternity. Stars hung from its limbs like glowing fruit. This, Zeus said, is the tree of echoes. The dreamer touched the trunk. Visions poured out, first bird in flight, first sailor under stars, countless faces. His knees weakened. Tears blurred his sight. His heart overflowed. The tree's pulse matched his heartbeat. The sky was not escape. It was reflection, carrying voices of many. Why me? He whispered. Because you listened, Zeus said. And because you will carry it forward. The dreamer turned, eyes on flowers, streams, the glowing tree. He felt countless souls with him, voices alive in memory. He was not alone. He never had been. The garden glowed brighter, petals answering his realization. The silver stream sang. The tree deepened in light. He bowed his head in thanks, not just to Zeus, but to every soul here. Slowly, the celestial garden faded into mist. Its glow sank into his chest, its chorus into his heart. He no longer feared forgetting, for the sky never forgets, and neither would he. The dreamer had crossed storms, gardens, and bridges. Now the mists faded, revealing a horizon glowing like fire and dawn together. It was not sun or moon, but a crown of endless colors, the crown of horizons. Zeus walked beside him, silent, eyes fixed ahead. Even he held reverence for this place. Each step carried the dreamer higher, though no peak was seen. The air hummed softly, alive, as if the horizon itself breathed. Is this the end? He asked. Zeus shook his head. The sky has no end. This is a threshold. The dreamer's heart tightened. Thresholds always meant choice. The crown shimmered, revealing vast figures woven of light and memory. Who are they? He whispered. Those who walk the sky before you, Zeus said. Sailors, poets, wanderers, echoes, burned like constellations in the air. They are not forgotten, Zeus said. The horizon remembers. The dreamer thought of his own journey, his trembling, his courage. Would he too leave a trace of light behind? The crown pulsed, answering his unspoken thought. A voice rose. Dreamer, what do you carry? I carry dawn and storm, memory and song, fear and courage both. And why do you walk the sky? The voice asked. He closed his eyes, to listen, to remember, to carry what others left. The crown flared, brilliant and soft, weaving him into its glow. Zeus spoke. The horizon is not for gods alone. It is for all who see. From the crown, a fragment detached, a circlet of fire. It drifted down, resting above his brow. Warmth spread, not of power, but of belonging. You are part of the horizon, the voice said. Carry it within you. Wherever you walk, the sky walks too. Tears filled his eyes. Every step had led to this. The keeper, the garden, the bridges, all had prepared him. Zeus placed his hand on the dreamer's shoulder. You have walked far. Now you must decide. Decide? He asked softly. Stay among light, or return carrying the sky within you? He gazed into the horizon. Peace lay in staying, but meaning lay in sharing. I will return, he whispered. The sky is not to be kept. It is to be shared. The crown glowed once more, sinking into his chest. Figures of light bowed, fading back into color. Zeus nodded. You walk now, as messenger of the sky. The horizon shimmered, endless, eternal. The dreamer stood tall, carrying crown, storm, and dawn within. The sky had not ended. It had only begun again inside his heart.